Alright, so this is my fourth review on my Star Wars review marathon. I decided to do Rogue One in between, Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. So that's right there, right now. But right now we're doing A New Hope, which, if just going based on like how much I like the movie, negating quality, it's my second least favorite film above Phantom Menace. So this one's definitely like I have a lot less to say about it. Um, and my criticisms of A New Hope are mostly like understandable because my main criticism of the movie is it's like pretty simple. At least like, at the point they get to the Death Star, it's sort of just like has a very basic ending. And that's kind of justifiable because they didn't know they were going to make sequels for this film, obviously, because they didn't know if it would do well. So it's supposed to be like a standalone film if it, was the only one they made. So that's why it ends with the Death Star. And also, episode 6 does because the series was always supposed to end with the Death Star. But like I said, this one's just kind of like a very simplistic story, at least to the point where they first arrive at Alderaan. So yeah, this film is very highly rated. I definitely think it's. I give the film like a 9 point. I don't even know, like a 9.4 maybe, but I definitely think this is overrated if we take it in the context of the other ratings from the series. Um, so yeah, New Hope, a great film, but definitely like a very simpler Star Wars film. Basically, my favorite part of the movie is the beginning, like all the way up to uh where they get to the Death Star here, basically. I absolutely love the scenes where, like, the beginning where Darth Vader's like to Princess Leia, "You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take her away." Stuff like that, and also just some of the direction is really, really good from this movie, and it is a George Lucas directed film, so there's some good stuff. I do think some of the CGI when they get on Tatooine that was added in the 2004 special editions are really bad, but in other parts they're quite good, and I think they enhance the film. Although, like, it is not that invasive. Like, people over exaggerate the problems with this special edition for sure. Um, Let's see. Okay, so the droids land on Tatooine, and this whole sequence is pretty good. It is a little bit slow, but it's good. Like, I like seeing the droids get acquired by Luke's aunt and uncle. It's like Baru, and I forget what the guy's name is. Aunt Baru and something else. Oh, Owen, yeah. And there's all this, like, sort of, how should I say it? It's like there is a there's the specter of Anakin's father looming overhead, and there's also this idea of like who's Ben Kenobi because Luke sees part of the message where Princess Leia is like, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope," and um yeah, so he knows that like there's a guy named Ben Kenobi, and so like in the middle of the night or something, like not Obi-Wan, R2 like goes off to find Obi-Wan, and then like Luke goes after him, and then that's he gets attacked by Tusken Raiders, but then Obi-Wan introduces himself, and this is another like amazing sequence and scene where like and I'm gonna make an edit on this. I love it so much, but where Luke is like, you fought in the Clone War? And we get to hear about Luke's father, named Anakin, who was supposedly killed by Darth Vader. And Obi-Wan's like, he was the finest star pilot in the galaxy, and he was a good friend. I really like that scene. It's really awesome. And then you like go through, you learn more about the Jedi powers and the religion and all that. I'm also going to do a video on the religion of the Jedi, the theology of the Jedi, and I'm going to introduce a little theory I have that some may find controversial, but I think it's right. So I'm going to be making that video as well. I actually have finished the whole watch through 1 through 6 plus Rogue One. I'm just making these videos now. I finished yesterday the episode 6. So yeah, they like go through. They go to Mos Eisley Cantina, and very iconic scene with the music and all this stuff. It's a really well made scene. And we're introduced to Han Solo, who is actually my favorite protagonist. I prefer Han to Luke. I like Darth Vader / Anakin way more than Luke. I still think Luke's a great character, especially how he grows over the course of 3 films. But Han is my favorite, and I kind of find him the most compelling, especially like, we'll get into this in the next film, but I consider the romance between Han and Leia to be like my favorite relationship of all time. Romance relationship on in film. So yeah, I really enjoy that, and I also just like how he is sort of, he's like Indiana Jones or like James Bond, or one of these guys that always thinks on his feet and isn't like super clean cut morally, like a good person, but like he's always like kind of, he's having a struggle with taking care of himself, which is what he's always done. And then the struggle is he's met these new people that have inspired him to like be part of a greater cause and like do good. And that's his struggle. And I really like that in this film, in all 3 films. So yeah, they make that deal to hire the Millennium Falcon to go to Alderaan, to sort of meet with Bail Organa, I guess. And that you get the Greedo scene here too, which is really good. And I don't really care who shot first. It's another thing with the special edition that I really don't understand what the problem is. Like, people are mad that George Lucas, like, I say changed it. It's not necessarily that he changed it. I mean, it's like it was always ambiguous who shot first, but Lucas intended for Han to shoot first, so he changed it. And I don't really see what the problem is with that, because Greedo was pointing a gun at him. Like, why does it matter if he shot first? It's completely reasonable to shoot the guy that's trying to kill you. And anyway, so they like go off and we learn about Lightspeed, and that's like up until like they get to the Death Star, the movie's like actually really great. And I'm not saying the rest of the movie isn't. I'm just saying, like, in terms of my love of the movie, it goes down significantly after this. And so yeah, on the Death Star, well, they find that Alderaan's been destroyed. And oh yeah, I should say, there's some amazing scenes with Tarkin on the Death Star, like the part where they're all sitting around the table and Tarkin's like, "The Imperial Senate will be of no concern. I'm told the Emperor has dissolved the institution completely. The last remnants of the old Republic have been swept away." And then you get a bunch of other scenes where, the guy is like, the general or admiral is like, "Your devotion to that sad religion hasn't given you clairvoyance enough to find the lost plans," or whatever he says. And then Vader's like, "I find your lack of faith disturbing," and he chokes him. So there's these awesome scenes. And then, of course, Alderaan is destroyed in another awesome scene where Tarkin's like, "You will give another target, a military target," because he's looking for the rebel base, but then he blows up her planet anyway, which just is an absolutely amazing scene that shows like how bad of a person he is, how dishonorable he is to, make a deal and then trick her and then blow up her planet anyway, killing billions of people for no reason. I mean, they have a reason. They want to like show their strength and like, cower the galaxy into following the Emperor's will without the Senate to keep the systems in line. But obviously, it's still like a really dishonorable thing to do to destroy the planet with no justification, really. So yeah, Alderaan is blown up. And then the Millennium Falcon arrives. You get that line where it's like, "That's no moon," and all this other stuff. You get scenes on the way there where Han is like, doesn't believe in the power of the Force and thinks it's like all tricks, and he believes like there's no real point to life, which is why I like him, because he's like I don't remember what that type of character is called, but it's like a certain type of male character that is very common in cinema. Like I said, Indiana Jones, James Bond, like the guy that's like very like suave, always thinks on his feet, like sort of like selfish, but usually has like a moral center that has to be like uncovered. So in Han's case, he doesn't believe in the Force, and he doesn't believe in anything he can't like do with for himself and sort of achieve on his own merits. And that sets up like a small arc for him where he learns that like, yeah, there is something bigger than me, both in terms of religion and also like a life purpose. So yeah, they arrive there, they land, they find a way to sneak onto the Death Star. They go, they don't sneak on. They're put on a tractor beam, and they split up, and Obi-Wan goes to turn off the tractor beam, but in the meantime, they go to rescue this princess that they know is imprisoned in the Death Star. So they do that, and you get another really good scene where Leia is rescued, and she's like, "Somebody has to save our skins," and then she like shoots the garbage compactor. They go down. You get the garbage compactor scene, and then you get like a scene that is a great scene, but like it's lessened by like the fact that like the fight choreography isn't very good. And I'm of course talking about the duel between Obi-Wan and Vader, which is of course very significant if you watch the prequels. Sort of the last time or the first time they meet since the duel on Mustafar, and it's, the apprentice has become the master. Darth Vader is now superior to his old master. He can destroy him, and he strikes him down, and Obi-Wan becomes a Force ghost, and they escape. Then you get the, so let's scroll down here. Let's go to the part where they leave the Death Star. Okay, yeah, so they leave to Yavin, where they see the technical specifications of the Death Star. I also genuinely like watching Rogue One right after Episode 3. It does really like make Episode 4 even more satisfying to watch. So yeah, I recommend that. And yeah, there's a hidden weakness, and we learned about that in Rogue One. And basically, this is a good scene where like the Death Star is in range, because they've tracked the Millennium Falcon, and they are sort of like taking like 30 minutes to get in range of the planet, so there's a good countdown, and yeah, they go to destroy the Death Star. And while a good scene, I would say it's robbed of its full greatness. I would say the sixth film properly does the destruction of the Death Star, because it's more than just shooting a missile down a like an exhaust shaft. There's so much more than that. There's the scene with the Emperor. There's the redemption of Darth Vader. There's the scene down on the planet with Han Solo getting rid of the shield. There's Lando Calrissian sort of getting his redemption arc by destroying the reactor. There's the space battle outside. It just felt so much more. And also, there's the problem with the fact that it's lower budget for sure than Episode 6, and you can definitely feel it at times during this movie, especially here at the end. But nonetheless, a good scene. And then I do really like the end scene with the triumphant ceremony. That is really well shot, and I like the music. It is kind of weird that Chewbacca didn't get a medal, but I guess you can justify it like Han is the captain of the ship, so he got the medal, I guess. But oh yeah, I should say that Han gets his redemption where before Luke flies off to the Death Star, he's like, Luke, may the Force be with you, sort of like acknowledging that, like, after what he's seen with like Obi-Wan sacrificing himself and escaping on the Death Star and all this, like, he's finally like showing respect to Luke and not being like, chippy and dismissive and being like, oh, the Force doesn't matter. And then also at the end, he redeems himself when he comes in, disables Darth Vader in his ship, and he's like, woohoo! So, yeah, I really like Han in this movie. I think he's a really great character. And yeah, they get their medals, and that's the end of the film. And yeah, I would say New Hope is definitely a great film, but I think it's dwarfed by the two movies that came after. And I do like two of the prequels more than this anyway. Obviously, if you take quality into account, yes, technically it's a more higher quality film with way more significance, but if I don't rate based on significance ever, or I at least try not to. I remember my friend Raj had a phase where he was even more of a film nerd, and he said this was his favorite Star Wars movie, but that's clearly just he was just saying that because it's the most significant, because it's the one that started it all. But I think clearly this film is dwarfed by the other two originals, which not only are higher budget, mostly better directed. At least Episode 5 certainly is better directed. Higher budget, more character development, more interesting story, way better action, way more significant story moments, I am your father, the redemption of Darth Vader, the throne room scene, all this stuff. So it's just it was a great introduction film, but ultimately, if I'm sitting down and I'm I really want to watch a Star Wars movie, I'm I don't think I'm ever going to pick New Hope, honestly. I'm not saying I don't like it, I'm just saying that I find the other films way more interesting. If I want to do the OT, I'm okay, I'm going to watch episode 5 or 6. Or if I want to do the prequels, I'll do episode 2 or 3. And sometimes even episode 1. But I don't really ever have a desire to watch A New Hope. At least, not on a regular, for sure. And I guess we can talk a little bit about the actors in this film. At times the dialogue can be a bit wooden. This is Star Wars. It's not known for the best dialogue writing, although I would argue sometimes it is quite great. Especially in Episode 5, I thought it was great. The romance scenes between Han and Leia, I thought they were perfectly acted and perfectly written, just really charming, and like they genuinely do make you smile. But there are some great lines in here. There's some moments where it's a little bit cheesy and stuff, but that's all right. It's like it's almost like charming at some points with Star Wars and the cheese. So yeah, actors. I mean, I do like Mark Hamill as Luke, but I would say in like this film in particular, he's like not my favorite, but like in episode 5 and 6, he's much better. Han and Leia, really good. Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher. I think this guy's got to be like the best actor from the whole movie, maybe even the whole OT. He's like a really incredible actor. Let's find some Tarkin quotes. I love this line. The Jedi are extinct. Their fire has gone out to the universe. You, my friend, are all that's left of their religion. Fear of this battle station. There's a lot of good Tarkin quotes. Oh yeah, even Rogue One has some great ones. This is such like a boomer meme. It's like a boomer Star Wars fan meme. Okay, I can't find too many, but there's like a great scene, like so many great quotes, like when he says, the Imperial Senate will be of no concern. I am told the Emperor has dissolved the institution completely. The last remnants of the old Republic have been swept away. This guy from Clockwork Orange who forms the body of Darth Vader, and then of course James Earl Jones, which I don't see him here, but he is the voice of Darth Vader, is fantastic. Alec Guinness and freaking Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, like what a good match there. Like I thought Alec Guinness, this is so seamless between the two Obi-Wans. C-3PO, very good actor. I'm pretty sure this is just a midget, right? Yeah, I think he's just a midget. Peter Mayhew, very good. Although he's Chewbacca, he doesn't do much acting. That guy was okay. She was okay. Nothing. Yeah, so I guess that's my review for A New Hope. 20 minutes, that's pretty good. A great film, but like I said, I just think that I'm always looking forward to watching episode 5 and 6 when we're talking about the originals. So, yeah, I think later on tonight maybe, or tomorrow, I will do episode 5 and 6, the review, and we shall be done with our Star Wars review series, and then I'm going to do a little video on the religion of the Jedi and the Chosen One prophecy, and I'm also going to do maybe a few other videos. There was one other that I mentioned during this, but I've forgotten what it was. But I have these things written down. Oh yeah, I'm going to do an edit of Obi-Wan saying like he was a cunning warrior and a good friend about Anakin. So you have that to look forward to. Alright. See you later. Sussy boy out.